holiday break, and we're happy to be back, jumping into uh, our coaches preview show again, and we're going to start with leadoff hitter Brian Heimlich from the North White Lady Vikings. Coach, I see that you had a 9-game win streak in the middle of your season, beautifully strung up, but then all of a sudden kind of hit a little bit of roadblock here. Can you describe what's gone on since we've seen you last before Christmas?
Yeah, so we had during Christmas break we went to play the Twin Lakes tourney, which has always been it's a very solid tourney. A lot of great teams in that tournament and a lot of good basketball. And we started off the tournament facing Kage. Knew they were a very solid team coming in, and we had our work cut out for us. And I thought we played pretty well. I mean, the first quarter got down 14-8, and then we were still down 5 at the half. And
all right, there we go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The second half, that third quarter, we came out and did a nice job, held them to 7 points, and we had 11. And hey, it was a 1-point game going to the fourth quarter, and just back and forth in that fourth quarter. They hit shot, we'd hit a shot, and we got to the free throw line in that fourth quarter, which really helped us. I think we had in the fourth quarter had 11 points, and all but 2 of them came from the free throw line, and that was a big thing. We were able to get to the line with our posts, and then Abigail Spry did too. But so it actually went into overtime. We had a couple. We had an opportunity. They had an opportunity. In regulation, and then went to overtime. It was 34-34, and overtime, same thing, kind of went back and forth. Just some missed opportunities, but it was basically 4-minute overtime. It was still tied, and both of us had scored a bucket, and that was it.
Wow!
And
defensive
we had. They turned the ball over. We had the ball with, I think it was about a little under 4 seconds left, and drew up a play, and were able to get it to Lauren Annis about half court. Took a couple dribbles, and so she, about 5-10 feet inside half court, and threw one up, and nothing but net at the buzzer, and so we won it by 3 in overtime, and so it was great win for us. I thought the girls played very well. Kept fighting, because in that fourth quarter we were down a couple different times, and just kept fighting and gave ourselves a chance, and able to hit a shot like that, and to send us to the next day against a very solid Twin Lakes team. And they're playing very well right now, and they came out, and we played a little 3-2 zone. We thought we could match it up with them on the outside. They have three really solid shooters, and another one that has knock down threes as well. So, I mean, they just got a lot of girls that can shoot the basketball. And early in the game, I think our first 4 possessions, we missed 3 shots around the block, one at the elbow, and then had a 3-on-1 and turned it over. And in that same stretch, we let them hit a transition 3 and a couple buckets, and we're down 7-0 right away, and we had opportunities to score on the offensive end. I thought our girls were doing exactly what we wanted. We just couldn't get the ball to go in the hole. And it was just kind of a struggle that first half. And then from that point on, I think we were down 15 at the half. But the second half, or the third quarter, didn't go as well for us either. Like I said, they have different girls that can step up, and their shooter, I think last night she had 8 threes against Rensselaer, just heard, and she had four threes in the third quarter against us. And
is that the coach's daughter? Is that no?
The assistant coach's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got the head coach's daughter and the assistant coach's daughter. She's a sophomore, averaging about 18 points a game, but she can really get going from 3. She can really shoot the basketball. If you're not with her, she's going to shoot it. And we lost her a couple times, and we were down, I think 22 going into the fourth quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, at one point we had it under 10. But I mean, it's tough to come back when you're down 22 going into the fourth quarter. You expend a lot of energy, and so we ended up losing that one. It was 62-47. Abigail had 14, Tessa had 11. But just both of those games were very balanced again. The KV game, Tessa Robertson and Abigail had 12 and 12, but Lauren Annis was one that had, she'd been off since the first game of the year, and she came out and did a nice job. Had 9 points in that KV game, and I really thought, I think she had 9 again against Twin Lakes, but we played her probably more minutes. Not probably, we did play her more minutes than I really wanted to going into this tournament. Just coming back from the injury, and we had some tired legs by the end of that Twin Lakes game, and then had to turn around and play again that evening. And we played Clinton Prairie. Abigail had kind of turned her ankle in that Twin Lakes game, and so we sat her. And so that was just one more guard that was out, and with the tired legs, I really thought, and both teams did. It was kind of one of those where you're playing and not either team is playing much defense, and it was, back and forth. I think we were up 31-28 at the half, and it was, we'd make a run, they'd make a run, and it just was kind of back and forth. We had a lead, 7-point lead right at the end of the third quarter, and they threw a pass, kind of tipped off our girls' hands right into theirs, and they scored a bucket at the buzzer, and so we were up 5 going to the fourth, and then fourth quarter we hit 2 free throws, and that was it. Outscored us, in that fourth quarter, and ended up winning that one 60-49. But again, I think we had some tired legs in that game, and I just didn't feel like we played defensively like we had been, and so it was. We went 1-2 in the tournament. But I was pleased with, the competition was great. It was nice to get the win over KV. I would have liked to play obviously a little better in those other 2 games. But I thought the girls still played and fought hard. Just kind of ran out of gas in that fourth quarter in that Clinton Prairie game. So, then we, last week played Carroll, another tough. They're playing very well this year. Went over there and had a good first quarter. They've got a couple good scorers. They got a very good young team, but we and talking about the Carroll game and then last night's Clinton Prairie game. Both games, the first half, really the second quarter, has been just brutal for us. I mean, handling the basketball. We like in the first half of the Carroll game, we had 15 turnovers, and it was a stretch where we didn't score for probably about 6 minutes, and just turnovers that really weren't forced. We were just not, kind of being lackadaisical with the ball, and we got down 38-21 at the half against them, and I told them at half, hey, I mean, 15 turnovers, it's hard to score more than 21 points, and just got.
How many were you averaging when you were playing well?
Yeah, we were averaging about 15 or 16 a game,
per game,
which
okay.
Per game, and we had that in the first half, and that was a lot of them. Some of them were in transition, just not making the right decisions and things like that, and so we said just chip away at it and come back out, and we did. The third quarter we had it. In the third quarter we had it down to 9, and just kept fighting, and 40 seconds to go, we're down 3, and had some chances, didn't box out a couple times, but in the third and fourth quarter of that game, I think we missed 8 total free throws too. I mean, we made that comeback and missed that many free throws, and so we had chances. I said, but after the game, I just told the girls, good teams. I mean, you can't put yourself down in that hole. I mean, we did it ourselves. We that first half, and so it was. We lost 61-54 there. But Lauren Annis had a really good game. She was 6 of 12 from 3, had ended up with 20 points, and Kate Kahn had 12 points. And the big thing with that game, I think defensively we were lost a little bit too. And I think I'm going to talk a little bit about this Clinton Prairie game, and then just kind of go through both of those together. But last night we went down to Clinton Prairie, and first quarter was great. We came out 18-11, and then with about a minute left in the fourth quarter, it was like a light bulb switched. They switched defenses a little bit, but we just got lackadaisical with the ball again, and we from that point until halftime, I think we had 17 possessions watching film, 12 turnovers. We had one or 2 buckets. One right at the end of the quarter where we banked it in, and then one to Kate that scored at the in the block, and then we had 3 other possessions where we missed shots, or it was one pass and missed shot, and it's hard to. And we were only down 7 at the half, but we had we were outscored 15 to 0 at one point in that stretch, and we had 6 straight possessions where we turned the ball over, and so it was a struggle for us. We started the third quarter pretty much the same way. And we got down 16 going in the fourth, and just never could get it going last night. And Clint Prairie's a good team too. I mean, they're playing hard. They're 11-7 right now, but they're playing well, and we're struggling right now on the offensive end. And it's not talking. When I talked to the girls today, I said, watching this one and the Carroll game both. A lot of things that we're doing is rushing. Our offense usually is very patient. We make passes very unselfish, and I feel like right now we've been rushing things. And part of that has to do when we, if we get down, 6-8 points, I feel like we need to get it all back in one possession. And so now we come down, it's one pass and, missed long 3. We're kind of watching it. Long rebound, now they're going back in transition again, and that's not how you get back in games. That's because that's a lot of times how you get buried in games, and that's kind of what I feel like that's happened. And when you turn the ball over 2 or 3 times in a row, that next possession needs to be very important. And I think we'll get there. We just got to be get that focus back and stay engaged in the game. And girls just got to be stronger with the ball. Our guards have got to be stronger with it. Our posts have got to be, hold their ground a little bit longer down low. And, I think we'll get there. The defensive effort, though, has been a little frustrating too. And I think sometimes that goes hand in hand. But you got to, if you're turning the ball over, not and doing those things, it puts a lot more pressure on your defense. And so I told the girls, we just got to be a little more patient and get back to where we were, playing and being unselfish and making those good solid bounce passes into the post, those types of things, and not being lazy, throwing, over the top and things like that. So, we got a challenge ahead of us tomorrow. Twin Lakes, we get to face them again, and they come to our place. But I, went over scouting report tonight, and I think the girls are engaged. I think they're going to be ready. I really want to just see us, play solid right now. I mean, we've been the last 3-4 games just haven't been focused. It's those things. So I'd really just like to see us play a very solid game and not make those mental mistakes.
Now, you had a game wiped out because of weather against South Newton. Has that been rescheduled yet or not?
Yeah, we're actually going to play them on Saturday at 1, and it'll be a varsity game only again. So that was easy to get rescheduled, quickly rescheduled at least. So yeah, we'll play Twin Lakes tomorrow night, and that one is just going to be a JV half, and then varsity right after, and then the Saturday game 1:00 start Eastern time, and it'll be just a varsity game.
And next week, what do you have?
And then next week we go on the road to Covenant Christian on Tuesday night, and then on Friday night another conference game on the road at North Newton, and that one will be a boys-girls doubleheader over there.
And for you North White fans, we'll have a live stream on that doubleheader. So tune in if you can't make it over to North Newton that night. So
yeah. So I mean, we gotta we're getting close to the end of the season here.
Sectional draw is when?
It'll be next Sunday.
This coming Sunday?
Not this one. The following one. Yeah, following that
Okay.
North Newton game, it'll be that Sunday. And so yeah, I mean it's close. It's we got 5 games left, and so that's one thing we told the girls too. I mean, we're getting to that crunch time, and we've got to get mentally focused back and ready to go and get this taken care of.
And you host the sectional this year?
And we do host it this
man,
year.
That'll be a nice little bonus, right?
So that's nice to have. It is always nice to play at your place, and we've fortunately get it again. I think we had it 3 years ago. This group of seniors were freshmen that year, and lost in the sectional title game that year. So I mean, they're looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good sectional again. So yeah.
Brian, thanks for coming over. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Brian Heimlich from the North White Lady Vikings, back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
High-quality, personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals, increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Finding that missing shin guard. Remembering whether it's a home or away game. Getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things. Like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, ref!
That's simple human sense.
The Conrad Agency in Fowler and Brook. Call 765-884-0530. Coach's Cage from Arnie's in Rensselaer here every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Central Time, and rolling on to another North White coach. It's Matt Sipkema from the boys squad this time. Matt, good to see you again. How you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Well, you guys just don't want to get started this year, do you? Another break for the Vikings, right?
Yeah, another break, unfortunately, and we're excited about our season, we're excited about our team, and it's just a bad break after a bad break for us.
Tell us the latest. What's going on with North White basketball?
Well, we were supposed to play that boy-girl doubleheader on Saturday with South Newton. That got canceled because of the weather, obviously, with the freezing rain coming in. And then we had a player over the weekend test positive, so that shut us down for this entire week right here.
So you can't practice at all then?
We can't practice. We can't do anything. And we were supposed to play Tri-County on Tuesday. We were supposed to go to we were supposed to play Friday, a Frontier, another conference game. Supposed to be 3 conference games in 7 nights. And then Saturday we were supposed to go to Covington to play. We were originally going to take the boys to Indiana State to watch the Sycamores play that night in the evening. So we had to scrap that. And then next week, so we'll have a full week off of not seeing the boys at all. And then when we come back on Monday the 17th, we have to wear masks to practice, so that'll be a little bit challenge for the boys. So try to get our conditioning back and try to get our legs back and wear a mask for 4 days. But the bright side, if we get all of our practices in and no more cancellations when we play North Newton on the 21st.
So that'll be your first game back?
That'll be our first game back, and our boys won't have to wear masks. That'll be day 6 of that.
And the 21st will be your first game back since December 29th?
29th, yeah. Whew. And the 22nd will be our first home game since the Rensselaer game on the 10th of December.
Oh, my golly.
It's been a challenge. It really has.
Sure.
You keep a smile on your face. You stay positive, and at some point your boys are like, we want to play, but
is it almost like starting over again next Monday?
No, not at all. I say that because of the fact that our leadership that we have, our senior leadership we have, our experience that we have, we'll get into work. And we had 4 days off over New Year's with the way the holidays fell. So we came back January 4th, which was last Monday, and we put a lot of work in. And we'll do the same situation next week. We'll do a lot of circuit work, a lot of conditioning work the first 3 days, and really focus on North Newton just on that following Thursday with a walkthrough.
So what do you got to talk to us about? The tournament in December?
Yep, and it was a lot of good basketball, I'll tell you that.
Where was it at? Tell us about it.
It was down at Edinburgh. Anytime you want to stop and talk or ask me a question, feel free to, because otherwise I'll keep going from game
That's
to game.
That's all right.
But yeah, Edinburgh is a cool gym. I mean, it's a cool gym. The AD takes such good care of us. The hospitality is amazing. Take the Kage down there next year. But
there you go.
It's an 8-team tournament, all 1- and 2A schools, and like I said, 4 of the teams were top 14 in the state, and it was seeded almost perfectly. So the first game of the day we played at 4 o'clock on the 28th, I think it was a Tuesday, and we played Hagerstown. They're over by Richmond. The whole week it was about Hagerstown. They were struggling a little bit, and we knew they were struggling, just not by record, but we saw a lot of film on them too. And we talked to the boys the importance of getting a good jump, because we knew more than likely we'd play Edinburgh, who's the number 2 ranked team in the state, just a few hours later. So anyways, we get on Hagerstown early. Our press is working great for us. We shot our best ball of the season, and at halftime at Hagerstown, we're up 50-19. So it was a good testament to our boys, because it's easy to play down to your competition and look past them, especially playing a team like Edinburgh the next game. So we already knew Edinburgh won that first game. They played a 4 o'clock game. So I'm sorry, the 2 o'clock game, sorry. So we get up 50-19. I think we scored the first 4 or 5 points of the third quarter to get up by 35, get that running clock going. So from that standpoint, we got our varsity out. Now we were short JV guys too, because of some concussion protocol from the Twin Lakes game. So we dressed 11 guys, and 3 of them were our freshmen from our team. So we got those backups in really quick. They got to play a full quarter and a half, and gave our guys some rest. And we walked away with a 68-35 win over Hagerstown, and all 5 of our starters were double figures in just 2 quarters. So from that aspect, it was really, really good. We got some rest.
So you played again that night?
That night.
Wow.
We played at 8. We played at 4 and 8.
Oh.
Like I said, we played more in 24 hours than we played in 4 or 5 weeks.
That's not much time to rest, is it?
No, but that's why it was good to get the running clock.
Right.
And get the starters out. So then Edinburgh, give you an idea about Edinburgh, they go 6'5", 6'4", 6'4", 6'3", and 6'2".
What class are they?
1A.
They're 1A?
1A. They're ranked number 2 on 1A.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea about the tournament itself, we're defeated by Edinburgh by 10 in that game. They advanced to play Indianapolis Lutheran, who was also 7-0. So both teams were 10-0 and 7-0 in that championship game of that tournament that Edinburgh won. So anyways, going back to Edinburgh, we're not intimidated by anybody's size. We jump up 12-4. They make a run on us. They get up like 14-12. They go on a 12-0 run, 10-0 run, and call a timeout and regroup. And in that game, Hunter Poe picked up his second foul at the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. Nate Miller had 2, and then Bentley Bushman had 2. So we had to really – sometimes you look at foul trouble, you may not take a guy out, but it changes the whole complexity of what you're trying to do. So, you've seen us, we like to get in your face, we like to play pressure defense, even on bigger guys, right? And we had to sit back. And with us being 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", them being 6'4", they really got to control what they wanted to do. With that being said, we were only down 30-21 at halftime. Very manageable. And everybody had 2 fouls. We got through the second quarter okay. So feeling pretty good. And we just come out, I think that sluggish third quarter to carry over from just the second quarter of having to protect ourselves and not playing our ball. So we got down by 13 at one time. And starting the fourth quarter, we went on a 7-0 run. Get down to 6, they get a technical foul, the worst technical foul I've ever seen until I saw the next one. Okay, but it was even from I'm coaching against Edinburgh, and I almost feel bad taking the free throws in the ball. But we get it down to 43-40 with 2:40 to go. The number 2 ranked team in the state, and then we have possession with 2:40.
What did they get teed up for?
Well, they had a college, a young guy that refs college, and he said there was too much flopping going on in the game. So he just said, I'm going to start teeing people up. And he did. And this kid, Jeff Stevens, we inbounds pass, he put a forearm up on accident and just popped this kid right in the face. 2 feet from me. And all of a sudden, about 10 seconds later, a whistle. I'm like, they're just not calling that on Jeff? And he's like, nope, we're calling on 32 technical for flopping. And I was like, okay.
Is that legal? You can do that?
You're not supposed to in high school. In college, you're allowed to, but not high school. But then, so we get down to 43-40, and Bentley Bushman, but we have not only do we have the actual possession, we have the jump balls in that possession. And Bentley, we get a player, and he gets tied up. Two guys go over his back. He tries to get his arm free. You can see it on film. He's not swinging anything, and he gets technical foul. So they go through. So we're down 43-40. They hit both free throws. Then they hit a 2 off of that. Now it's 47-40 with 2:40 to go. And now you're forced to hit a shot. And we don't hit a shot, and then it's just free throws after that. So we go away with a 57-47 loss to Edinburgh. And then at that point, we talked about the fact that the good competition we play at Edinburgh, tomorrow's consolation game, would be a very important game. So end up having a few guys get 12 and 13 points in that game, and pretty balanced scoring. The difference was foul trouble. You go back to Rossville. At that point, our second loss of the season. Both games are 2 of our 5 key players are in foul trouble. So and then we had 18 turnovers. That's not characteristic of North White basketball. So 18 turnovers and foul trouble, and we were still right there. So it just shows you, how good of a ball team we've got. But the next day was really, really important to our program. We talked about we didn't want to leave Edinburgh 1-2. We wanted to get that bad taste in our mouth of losing. In South Decatur, you look at their record, you're like, well, they're only 6-6. Well, they got the state's leading scorer. Hunter Johnson averages 36 points a game over 12 games.
Wow.
So, to do that once or twice, but to do it over 12 games.
That's saying something.
And another thing, too, we played South Decatur 2 out of 3 years down there. We're averaging ourselves 82 points a game, and we're 0-2. So if you're a fan of offense, a fan of the game, they're the only team we're going to play all year that wants to play quicker than us. So they had Hunter Johnson, who averaged him 35, 36. We held him below his average. He only got 32 on us. But their point guard is a very special player. He's a sophomore, and he went for 30. So their backcourt went for 62 against us. But throughout the game, we were up 22-17 at the end of the first. Feeling pretty good. I think our legs got a little bit tired on us. We got down by 8 or 9 at halftime. But once again, in the fourth quarter of that game, we're up 69-68. And there's a possession and with the ball, and I'm like, wow, we're gonna get this thing taken care of. And we missed a bunting shot. We put us up 3, and they go down and hit a 3. And the difference of that game was their role players hit shot. So yeah, you said those 2 guys got 63. That's huge. Well, they still scored 85. So 3 or 4 more guys got 20 points together.
Right.
So their role players. Every time we get that. We lose by 7. It's not like it's a blowout. It's 85-78 is the final score. We lose by 7, and it's 79-78 with 1 to go. And their kids that average 2 or 3 points is knocking down a 3 in the corner, and it's hats off to South Decatur. So, but I told the boys in the locker room, and it's kind of hard covering 3 games like this, but I told the boys in the locker room after the game not to hang their head. It'd be really easy to hang your head. We had a 2.5-hour drive home. And be disappointed in losing 2 games down at Edinburgh. But we won't see. I think you look at our schedule. We've got 3 or 4 really tough teams coming up, but you're not going to see a South Decatur or Edinburgh in this area. You're just not. So we go both those games being 2 or 3 possessions in a 4 quarter. We come back and play that type of basketball. When we do start playing, I feel really good about North White moving forward.
You have South Newton and Tri-County game to make up. Any dates on that yet or not?
Yeah, we got dates for all of them. I don't want to lose any games. I went down Sunday when I got the call from the nurse, and I texted Coach Simmons and Coach Grettencourt and reached out to Covington, and we got them all scheduled.
Also, you got 3 games to make up yet.
Yeah, we got Covington, too. That wasn't on the schedule.
Okay.
So, but I know South Newton is going to be February 11th. I know Tri-County is going to be the February 15th, and Frontier will be the 22nd. So, and then actually Covington, we're going to go down at noon and play them on it's the same day as the girls' sectional championship, February 5th. We'll go down to Covington really early, about 9 in the morning, play that at noon and come back home. So as of right now, we've got everything.
And hopefully it's a go for the 21st.
Yeah. Oh, we're excited about having you guys over, and well, I guess you wouldn't be over to our place, but we're excited about you guys showcasing North White. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we'll be live streaming that doubleheader on the 21st. That's a week from Friday, right?
Yep.
So girls, boys, Midwest Conference doubleheader. Where are you standing in the Midwest Conference now?
Well, we haven't played one.
Yep.
Yeah. We have.
I guess you haven't.
We were supposed to play 3 in 7 days, so yeah, we haven't played one. Well, then the good news is, you may miss a game or 2 in the future because you have to move games, but you have to play your conference games.
Right.
So 3 or 4 of these were conference, so he may have to kick off a kick out of Attica or kick out of something like that later on, but you're going to get these games in at some point.
All right. Well, maybe we can start talking some basketball here soon, okay?
That's the plan.
All right, Matt. Thanks for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
Matt Sipkema from the North White Vikings, back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
If you're looking for some great food before the big game or anytime, stop by the Wagon Wheel Grill on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. From their famous Wagon Masters to their great homemade chili, the Wagon Wheel is the place to go to satisfy your hunger needs. Takeout is also available by calling the Wagon Wheel at 219-866-9942.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
For compassionate veterinary care, you can count on Rensselaer Pet Care. Dr. Jan Mallory and Dr. Nick Mallory are now seeing patients at their new facility located at 1370 St. Gaspar Drive North in Rensselaer behind Walmart. We treat your pet like a member of the family. From wellness exams and vaccines to complex surgical procedures, your dog or cat will receive high-quality care at our hospital. Boarding is also available. For more information or to check hours of operation, contact Rensselaer Pet Care at 219-866-4671.
Back with you on the Coach's Cage. Ryan Harrington, the assistant coach for the Tri-County boys team, has joined us. Ryan, good to meet you all first all of a sudden, and how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing
Doing
tonight?
really well. Pinch hitting for Coach Grettencourt tonight. He's not available, but Tri-County had a few games since we've last talked. You had a tournament that you played in. Let's go through that if you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we got that. It's called the Red Blue Classic up there at Hebron High School. So opportunity to play some teams you don't necessarily see regularly with our schedule. So we started things off with the home team, Hebron.
Okay.
And we started off really good. The first quarter we go up on them 17-1. So,
wow.
Yeah, jumped out to a good start. I mean, the kids looked awesome. We're hitting every shot, getting defensive stops, running the fast break. It looked great. And then, they call a timeout, they kind of regroup, and they're able to get back in the game, take a lead going into halftime. And, we talked to them about, hey, they're going to come out ready to go. We just have to take care of things. If we play the way we do in the first quarter, we'll be fine. And, of course, didn't quite work out that way. Hebron's a really good team. They got a guard, the Mars kid. He's a very, very good shooter. I mean, you give him any space, he's knocking it down. So we kind of lost him a few times. They were able to kind of extend things a little bit and pull away with the win there. Then the second game, we got to play Winnemac. So
is that the same day or
same day?
Same
yep,
day.
Same day. We go back later that afternoon. Now we got to watch Winnemac play. They played the game after us, so kids kind of got an opportunity to scout them a little bit, see them. Then we had a little bit like 2-hour break, I believe, and then we came back and we played them. that game was really close. We ended up losing that game by only 2, 59-57. We got the lead late, 1-point lead, about 30 seconds left. They call a timeout to set up a play, and so we change into a 3-2 zone on them. And we have it set up perfect. Corbin Lawson gets a deflection, loose ball, a little bit of a scramble. They come up with it, hit a guy in the corner, and he buries a 3, nothing but
the
net.
old scramble 3.
Yeah. So we went down, though. We get a decent look from 3.
She had some time left then?
We had some time. We had an opportunity there to hit a shot. We didn't hit it. Then you got a foul. We're down 2. They're able to hit their free throws. And then in the end, we hit a shot there right at the buzzer to make it only that 2-point loss. But, they were able to take it away. That scramble there, that loose ball kind of lost us that game. But, again, Winnemack's a pretty quality opponent. They got some really good guards. Kind of gave our kids some confidence as far as, hey, we can compete with some of these pretty good teams.
What does the coaching staff say after the game like that?
I mean, again, we told them you did exactly what we asked you to, right? We're in the defense. We get a deflection. We get a loose ball. Obviously, you want to come up with it, but, you can't really fault the guys for not necessarily being able to do that. And, they're able to hit that corner 3. Sometimes you got to take your hat off to them and say, hey, great shot.
Right.
So, again, being able to be in that game, have that experience of playing back-to-back games same day, legs aren't very fresh. And again, playing that tough opponent, that 2A school, that's a good experience for us.
And then you played the next day, is that right?
Yeah, we did. We played, it was kind of a B team, I guess you could call it. It was Boone Grove. You won't see it there on John Harrell.
I don't see it on
there. They had, it was 4 of their varsity players. They moved down, and it was mostly a JV squad. So we were able to, I think it was like a 42-25 victory that we came away with there. So again, that one's not necessarily a great example as far as the team, but now you're talking a third game in only, less than 40 hours. So kids, you could tell, running up and down the floor, not quite that same hop in their step, and but able to come away with a win, some solid things learning from that experience.
How did it get to be that game?
River Forest had a COVID breakout, so they had to withdraw from that tournament. So they did not play in that tournament.
I see.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So Boone Grove, they were playing in the championship game, so they used basically, like I said, some of their reserve players kind of made that second squad just
so you could have another game.
So we could have our third game there.
Okay, and then you moved into 2022, right?
Yeah, moved into the new year, get to start things off, going down to Clinton Prairie. Always a interesting trip. That's a small gym down there. Get to play in that.
Yeah.
Low ceiling, it feels like, but good environment. They always bring a lot of fans. It's definitely always a good environment. They have a very good team. That's a team. They have a really good opportunity to, I would think, win their sectional. They're very good. Now, that's a tough sectional they're in, but they got some very solid players. Coach Peckinpah's got them. They play.
And they're a 2A team?
They are a 2A team, yeah. They play all zone exclusively. Oh. So if you ever watched McCutcheon, when his dad was coaching McCutcheon, they play that. It's like a kind of a 2-1-2 type zone defense, and that's all they do. So definitely a different look for us. Lots of height, and they've got some. They even got some young kids. They had 2 freshmen that played varsity.
Really? That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. They got some size and they have some skill. So they're going to be a really tough opponent moving forward as well. So they definitely took it to us. We got down early, and it just kind of gets into one of those ugly games. We struggled to hit baskets, and again, they pull out with a 69-25 win. So we kind of got that mercy rule going. And knowing that we have that game the next night, there did get that point in the fourth quarter. We kind of pulled kind of our main guys, just, hey, we need you fresh for tomorrow night. So, that kind of led to that lopsided score as well.
And you didn't have to battle any ice Saturday night?
Well, we definitely was a slow trip home. We took our time, but Carl Dillon, he's a great bus driver. I was telling my mom was actually concerned about it all. She's like, I don't know about this trip, this ice, and I just said, hey, Carl's got us. I'm not worried with him driving.
The way down was okay.
Then. The way down was totally fine.
Yeah.
Way back, like I said, we took our time, but Jeff LeBeau was driving ahead of the bus. He was warning us if anything, the spots were bad. So.
Yeah. Well, you played at Attica.
At Attica, yes.
Big win, huh?
Big win. It looks great. 55-32. Going into the fourth quarter, though, we were down 32-30.
Oh my gosh!
So we outscored them 25-0 in the fourth quarter.
You pitched a shutout in the last quarter?
We pitched a shutout. I couldn't believe it.
What was the difference of that last quarter?
We woke up. I don't know. I mean, that's we definitely, the kids, the look on their face kind of changed. Definitely helped. They had a lot of guys in foul trouble. So by the end of the night, the entire starting five for them had fouled out. So yeah, definitely. And they aren't a very deep team. They started 2 kids. They ended up starting the JV game and turned around and starting the varsity as well. So
have you ever seen a game where all 5 starters have fouled out?
I have not. No, I had never seen that before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that definitely helped. But it didn't all happen at once. It was one guy fouls out here. Play a couple more minutes, the next guy fouls out. But again, our kids definitely picked up the intensity on top of that. It wasn't just that they were losing their players. We started to press them. And they definitely, you could tell they were getting tired because they didn't have a lot of reserves to bring in, and we just kept rotating guys, and that definitely paid off for us.
Who played well? Sorry.
Yeah, that game we had, I believe, we had 4 guys in double figures. So Kobe Baylor led us with 12 points, Nate Corbin 11, Corbin Lawson 10, Eric Zarzi 10.
Good balance.
Yeah, good balance. And then also Nate Corbin had 10 rebounds, so he got a double-double for us. And then Corbin Lawson had 9, so he was 1 rebound away from that double-double. So, yeah, really good performance, well-balanced. No one really stood out. It wasn't like, oh, man, Nate's having a great game, Corbin's having a great game. They just all took care of business, and that was really awesome for us.
Now, again, you lost the North White game, right?
Yes. Yeah,
so that'll be made up, I think. I can't remember what Matt said it was.
February 15th.
February 15th. So what's next for the Cavs?
We go to West Central Friday night, so we get a conference opponent. Now that'll end up being our first conference game of the season since we've moved the North White game back twice. And then Saturday we get a host lacrosse, which that'll end up being our first home game since December 3rd. So we've kind of been road warriors right now.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's right. Man, oh, man. Well,
they've got a pretty decent record, don't they, lacrosse?
Lacrosse, yeah, they've had a pretty good year. They're 5-4 on the year. They just got a new coach, Rick Snodgrass. I believe he used to be over at Twin Lakes.
Twin Lakes,
yeah. So
long time ago.
Yeah. So before my time.
Yeah.
But Coach Grettencord talks about it because I guess that's when Coach Grettencord was playing. So I hear about it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Coach Grantcourt's not here, so let's talk about the Tri-County JV. How are we doing now?
We got our first win on Saturday, so kind of been an up and down year. Obviously, dealing with COVID, sometimes you got kids quarantined, and when that happens as a JV coach, you get the luxury of being told, hey, your best player's playing more varsity tonight, so you don't get them. So we've only had 2 games where I've had all the guys, but, like with any JV squad, we're just trying to get better. So kids are really buying in, and you could tell on Saturday against Attica they wanted that win. Our bench was cheering. You would have thought it was a home game with our pep block, just the way the bench was going every time we scored. So, a couple freshmen coming in for us. Riley Hughes has had some big moments for us on that JV squad. Over at Twin Lakes, he hit 5 threes on him.
Whoa! Wow.
So, that's a nice little spark for you. Grayson Schneider's another freshman he'll come in. He can knock down some shots, and then Noah Dallenberg. So I got 3 freshmen that are really big contributors for us, and then I got a couple of juniors that also quarter. So again, it depends on the game, but JP Shimmerhorn, Will Getz, and Sammy Bungeon, and they give a lot from the leadership perspective. They've been playing minutes for me on the JV. This was now their 3rd year, so a lot of experience. They know what I expect, and they've done a good job of bringing those freshmen along.
So you have to know how many quarters each of them can play, right?
Oh,
you have to keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, we got to keep that in mind.
Because if you play a second, that counts as a quarter, right?
Correct, yes. So usually me and Coach Grettencord talk. So
you map it out ahead of them?
We map it out to some degree, like, hey, you get this kid for 2, you get this kid for 3. We try to plan that out as far as who's playing what. I usually have in my head, all right, I want to play him the first. Like, if I get a kid for 2 quarters, I try to play him the first quarter and the third quarter. If I get a kid for 3, Well, now we get to kind of play the game.
God, that's
of
got to be
when
hard,
do I play
doesn't it, to coach that way?
It is, because it's like, is it going to be a game in the fourth quarter where I need him, or is it not going to be a game and maybe he needs more varsity minutes so I don't? So it's just always that balancing act of when do I play him, when don't I?
So how do you roll the dice? Do you like maybe not play in the first quarter? Or
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. So, and again, sometimes giving those kids the opportunity to start is also nice. So it just depends on the night. And that's kind of something we did. Riley Hughes hadn't started a game until just on Saturday, so he finally got his first start, and we got our first win. So we may have to keep rolling.
Yeah,
with
there
that.
you go. We're talking with Ryan Harrington, the assistant coach for Tri-County. And how do you have what's your role as the JV coach? What do you see your role as a JV coach?
Definitely, obviously, like I said, with the JV team specifically, just kind of helping them buy into their roles and improve to know what they need to do at that next level. That's something that Coach Grettencord really stresses. We don't want to move a kid up just because. We want them to establish a role, have that role on the JV, be comfortable with it. A guy that's a great example of this is Justin Cree. A couple years ago, he played his junior year almost entirely on the JV with me, and everything was just to get him good shots, get him good threes. Fast forward to his senior year, and he ends up setting our single school record for single threes in one game with 8. And a lot of that, that was established when he was a JV player. That was his role. Hey, you're taking this shot. You're going to make it. You got to be confident. And then when he gets to varsity time, he's totally fine. So as far as the JV team, I really see that in practice, and in games. I'm usually just in Coach Grettencord's ear. Anything I see, anything I think, like, hey, what if we try this? Sometimes in a game, he probably gets tired of me standing up saying, hey, what if we switch to this defense, or what if we do these different things?
So you're involved heavily in the varsity game, too.
Oh, yeah. I'll put something in his ear, say, hey, what if we switch this up real quick for a little bit? Or, hey, I'm seeing this kid's he's looking for this shot specifically. Maybe we need to take that away. Or maybe a guy's not being aggressive. We can look to help off of him. So, yeah, anything to help.
We just don't get a chance to talk to a JV coach very often.
No, we don't.
But how do the practices work with you guys?
We go back and forth. There's some times where, he calls something out to the guys. There's other times where I get mad and I just say, hey, coach, blow this dead real quick.
So you practice together or separate?
No, we practice together, yeah. So, there's times where we'll split up and, running through offenses or stuff, and we'll go varsity one side, JV the other, but most of the practices we're together.
So, go ahead.
What's more important? Is it player development, or is it, the team progressing and doing the things, learning to play together?
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand to some degree. That's definitely the way we do a lot of things is earlier in the week we kind of focus on the fundamentals, your ball handling, your shooting, all that stuff. And then we get, today, Wednesday, and Thursday, if we've got that back-to-back weekend like we do, focusing more on, okay, this is what we're going to do to attack that team and working on that together. As far as the teamwork and the camaraderie, that's something that's we really stress as well. You got to buy into your role and you got to do your job. And when kids have struggled to do that, usually you struggle to win. When kids really buy in, we have a lot of success. That's the big thing. Last year the JV team, with a lot of these guys getting varsity minutes, they went 12-2 with me. And there wasn't because we were more talented than a lot of the teams we played. We bought into what we had to do in our role, and that goes a long way. You can really overcome a lot with that.
Now, you as a JV coach, do you pay attention to the middle school, what you got coming there? How does it work there for that when you're the first contact, really, when they get in? You don't have a freshman team, right?
We do, but it's more of a C team. So yeah, we'll play some guys down.
So how does that transition go from the middle school up to you?
Yeah, we get them in the summertime, so usually we get to do some summer games and just kind of expose them to a few of the things that I want. And, Coach Grettencord usually goes with me. We'll go down, we'll watch the 8th grade play, we'll watch the 7th grade play, kind of have an eye on a few people, make sure we talk to them and encourage them when they've had good games in the classroom,
How are the numbers with the middle school?
Pretty solid. And we got a pretty decent 8th grade group. They've had some ups and downs, but I couldn't tell you the exact numbers, but we haven't struggled to have kids out. I know some schools it's like, I don't know if we'll have a 7th grade team.
Yeah, they're
this year.
Combined, don't they?
But no, we have not had that problem, thankfully. I know Coach Stan Cook with the 7th grade, I think he's got a rotation of close to 10 guys that he tries to keep going. So, we haven't really necessarily struggled on the numbers front. Now, some of those guys are pretty raw. They need some experience, but it's good to have those kids out and being active. That's
keep them interested, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You never know when a kid's going to start shining. We've had kids who weren't very good middle school players, and they come to the varsity level, and they do a lot for us. So you never want to give up on someone like that.
Ryan, thanks for coming over and pinch hitting tonight. Appreciate it, and good luck throughout the rest of the year, okay?
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavaliers. Back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Finding yourself in need of a quick repair or realize your home needs a good amount of updating? Who should I call? Call Make It Better Contracting for your solutions. They find time for new builds, remodels, and additions. Even when the roof leaks, your kitchen needs to be bigger, or you need another bathroom. Make It Better Contracting is your full-service contractor. If you own a project home that is in need of a lot of work, Make It Better Contracting is interested in purchasing your home. Call today at 219-863-0851. Together, we can make it better.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Hey, welcome.
Now turn me on. Now let's see. What was that?
There you go. Hi, Wes.
Yeah.
You can tell who this is, can't you? You don't even need to watch.
You don't even watch.
Don't even watch. It's Wes Radke. The place lights up when you come in the door. You know that?
Yeah, that's what my wife says too.
Yeah. We haven't seen you in a while. You were the last Coach's Cage we did. You had a game that night.
You quit inviting me. You got mad at me and told me not to come back for a while.
I did, yeah. So we just
I was put in Cage jail.
Interrupted Eric Van Meter's hunting trip to send him in here, but we do appreciate it.
I had to play Santa Claus.
Yeah, you did. Hey, good to see you again. How many games are we going to talk about now?
Two, because after that Lowell game on the 23rd.
What were you then? What was the record then?
12 and actually 11-4.
Let's talk about the first 15 games. Talk about that first. Where you thought you'd be behind, ahead?
And again, you as I said the last time, the only teams we haven't lost anybody in 2A yet. So that's something positive to hang our hat on. We lost to Harrison. We lost to, West Lafayette. We lost to BC, and then we've lost to CC now, and we lost a tough one last night at Twin Lakes. So going that first half before you said in the 2021 there, I was very pleased with the way we were playing. I thought we did some really good things. I thought we were clicking pretty good at times, and still needed a lot of improvement there, and trying to get everybody on the same page and playing on the same page with each other. And I thought at times we did that. And then there was times where we kind of got a little lackadaisical, the BC game for one that we just didn't show up very good. I mean, you guys were there. You remember that nightmare of what happened. They were a very good team, and look at them. They're still undefeated.
They haven't lost yet. Yeah.
They're still rolling along there, and it's just one of those processes where the first part of the season we just had to keep getting better and working together, and as the season rolls on and as it got towards Christmas break, we were really excited going into playing Lowell, and Lowell was playing really well. They were doing some good things, and we went there, and man, I'm telling you, it was probably some of the best basketball we played in a while all together as a team.
At the Inferno.
At the Inferno. At the Pit, wherever you want to call that place. It's and we really responded really well. I was very proud of the girls. Every aspect of the game, everybody did some really good things there, from passing the ball, playing defense, just the team camaraderie, just doing some really good things in that game. And so we finished out 2021 on a winning note, and it was one of our goals to do that. And so then we had a break.
You didn't like that. I can tell by your
No.
face you don't like the 2-week break, right?
I don't. I wanted to give the girls some time back, obviously, and it gave us a chance to do some team bonding there a little bit too. But also, I like being around these girls. I like being in the gym with them. I like coaching them. I like watching them be successful. And sometimes if I've learned anything from this pandemic that happened, if you give people time to do what they want to do, they kind of forget about, we got to go back to work here. We got to make our own timeline when we wanted to get up and when we wanted to eat and when we wanted to go here and go there and not have any plans. And so it's taken a little while to get back into it, coming back off of those days. And everybody asked me if I was crazy. Some of the previous players that I had, my own daughters were like, "Are you sick? Is something wrong with you?" And honestly, no. I was trying to do what I thought these girls needed a little bit, because we were going hard at it, and trying to give them a little bit of time. And maybe right now, because we've lost 2 in a row, it's easier for me to say that. Maybe it'll benefit us later on when we're still pretty fresh and the girls can continue to work at it. But we played these 2 past games, and in my opinion, and I know that doesn't really matter much, but in my opinion, I think we gave 2 games away that we should have won. It's something we're hopefully learning from. That way we can continue to keep getting better.
You can get a little bit of that back, though, on Friday night.
Well, tomorrow night. We're not playing Friday night Bowie Girl doubleheader anymore. We're playing tomorrow night. We got out of that doubleheader, and West Lafayette wanted just to play girls only and boys only on Friday night, and I don't have a problem with that. So we're going tomorrow night to play down at West Lafayette.
They've kind of been a nemesis for you guys.
Oh yeah, we played them once already this year, and that was an ugly game. 55 fouls called on us, and
on you?
Well,
55.
It felt like it was kind of getting a little personal there. I felt like, man, am I fouling 2 over here that you're calling on me? What?
They didn't like the looks of you.
I guess. And I even thought I looked pretty good in that night, and it didn't happen. But 55 fouls called on us that night, and I can
even for you guys, that's a lot.
55 fouls, and we had 17 called on them, 17 to 55. And you can't make that stuff up.
No.
and we lost that game.
Did you tell that to the officials during the game?
Yeah, several times.
There's 9 fouls to none.
It was more than 9.
Well, they stopped counting.
They stopped counting because it can't go up that high. But but that's something because in the CC game that came back to haunt us, there's 38 fouls called, and last night there was 31 fouls called.
Fouling.
I agree. Quit calling them. That's what I keep telling them, and I keep having people tell me, your girls are too aggressive. I get that, but and we've talked about it. We've got to quit fouling. We've got to be better at what we're doing here, and I think some of that is that time off. We're trying to get our feet back underneath us and trying to do some right things, and just trying to get going in the right direction again. But we can't do that. We can't foul and put people at the line like that. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna benefit a city. What
was it last night?
Last night it was, again, 31 fouls, and the team like Twin Lakes, who shoots very well from the free throw line, they should make 26 out of 31. That's 83%. Right there's the ball game. Games are won a line to free throw line, and if you foul them that many times, they're going to make that many, and it's tough to come back, especially when you're only shooting 11. Doesn't even out there too much. I mean, I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but doggone it, you're not going to win too many games when you do that kind of stuff. And that's what I mean by letting things slip through our fingers. We put ourselves in good shape to win the game, but yet we shoot ourselves in the foot by doing those type of fouls and putting people to the free throw line. And believe me, it doesn't matter how much I yell, how much I beg and plead and try to coerce and try to convince the official that they didn't see what they saw. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change one thing. And that's something that I've told the girls, that you have to play through that, but you also have to adjust as the game is called. If they're calling fouls that you're reaching, then stop reaching. After the first one, you got to adjust. So it's still a work in progress with that. Right now, that's my biggest frustration. I think a little bit is just that we just got to get better at not fouling.
Before we talk about these two games, would you like to play a regular season game in that big long break over Christmas?
Oh,
New
absolutely!
Year's?
I'd love to play 5 games.
Is that something you could work on or no?
We can try. We're going to try to do some things and see if we can't move some things around there because it is kind of jam packed in a couple of places here or there. We can maybe spread the wealth out a little bit more
because you're going to stay in that early tournament, right?
Yeah, we're going to stay in that, and there might be some because we play CC, Twin Lakes, and West Lafayette in this short amount of time, and there's not much time to scout or not much time to go over game plan. And I mean, you're hitting the ground running from the next team for the next night. So, hopefully maybe we can try to do something where we can spread it out a little bit more. But the problem is when you look at that, you got, we played the 23rd, so then you got Christmas Eve, you got Christmas. Then you got a few days after that, then you're in the New Year's Eve, then you're in New Year's. So there's not much of a window there, a couple days that we can do some things. So we'll try to see what we can do and come up with be creative to get something in there because, it's tough when you come back to the gym and you haven't played in a while to get them going to play against a team like CC. You got to be on top of things.
Let's talk about Central Catholic game last Saturday.
Yeah, and we came out, even though we hadn't played in a while. The first quarter it was 12-12, and we went toe to toe, and I thought we handled ourselves really well, and had some opportunities, but it was 12-12 in the first quarter, and then. At halftime it's 24-30, and I'm feeling still pretty good. We let some things slip through a few times and got some foul troubles, and I know that's not unusual, but we just didn't handle things too well there. But again, still within striking distance there. Third quarter it's 42-45. We're right there. We actually at the end of that third quarter we ended up taking the lead into the third quarter by 2. And had the opportunity and just let that one, that possession, we just missed a shot. And they went down and got an and one and started building back up on the lead and just started pulling away from us. And, we just came up short in that game and ended up losing 57-49 in a hard-fought game that, I wish we had that one again to play. And, we do some different things because, again, we hit 15 field goals to their 8. They hit 5 threes to our 2, and again another situation where the free throw line becomes a problem for us. And they shoot 69%, we shoot 65. I mean, it was just a hard fought game, and we just came up short.
Who played well for you?
Jesse and Morgan and Ayler, all three had 12 points. They all three did a really good job. Jesse got in foul trouble early in that game, so she had to sit out there for a while. So, between Morgan and Ayler, they kind of did some nice things. Avery had 6 points where she did some good shots and made some good things that made something happen for us. And, Sarah Kaufman came off the bench and did some really good things, her and Taylor Van Meter both defensively, to help, close that gap, especially in that third quarter. I mean, we came out that third quarter and, we really were honed in on what we had to do. Ayler had 6 straight points right in a row. And the problem that we had is we were a mismatch for them on the offensive end, but also then it became a mismatch for us on the defensive end because they had smaller guards. So it was kind of trying to pick your poison of what we were trying to do and trying to match up and put the pressure on them, keep the pressure on them. And it just got away from us. And those three again had 12 points, and we finished off, like I said, 49-57.
And last night, you got off to a rough start, didn't you, against Twin Lakes?
And the thing is, we had the lead 4-0, and had 3 or 4 more looks at the basket, and the ball just didn't go in. It just didn't happen, and we lost Nickerson a few times, and she hit 1, 2, 3, 4 threes in that first quarter. I mean, she just boom, boom, boom before we knew it, and we were down 24-4, and fellas weren't looking very good. It was kind of like, wow, here we go, and how are we going to react? And we responded really well. I know we lost the game, and we really did. But the team of the past that I've had, and it's been 6 years, and it's been a growing process the entire time. Last year's team probably would have just gave up and just thrown in the towel. And it's the same group of girls. Maturity has helped us out a ton, and they fought back. We scored 21 points in that second quarter, and they scored 12. I mean, we really cranked it up offensively and defensively to really put ourselves back where we need to be. Halftime it was 25-36. Still not where we need to be, but we're feeling pretty good about things going out. And into the third quarter, it's 45-53, and we're back and forth. And we got it to a point where, again, going into that third quarter, we're 2 points away from tying this up, and we went down 3 times in a row with opportunities and just couldn't get the ball to fall. Had great looks, just couldn't get the ball to fall to try to get over that hump. And then we had to start fouling and doing some different things in that fourth quarter to try to stop the clock, because they were spreading the floor on us, and we had to narrow down the splits a little bit, so we had to start fouling, and they hit their fouls. They were 26 for 31. I mean, they just shoot free throws very well, and with a good free throw team, a good team like that, you can't do that. And so it's something we got to continue to work on. We ended up losing 73-59, and a game that score. I mean, that game was a great game to be in. And
so you cut it from 20 all the way down to 2.
Yeah, and we worked our butts off. I mean, those girls worked their butts off. I mean, they
just need to get over that hump, didn't you? At least.
Well, we just need to do that for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
If we do that for 4 quarters, fellas, I'll play with anybody when those girls do that. And that's what I got to try to get them to understand, that moving forward, if we want to do what we want to do, we have to do this for 4 quarters. We can't – I don't care who you're playing. You can't spot them 20 points and then work your butt off. And then, we kind of hit a wall that fourth quarter. We just kind of ran out of gas a little bit because we had spent so much energy and time and effort to get out of the hole that we put ourselves in, that we really needed to dig deep in the well. It was a little dry. But nevertheless, I was very proud of the girls and their effort. And it's just one of those games where we kind of did it to ourselves. And the past 2 games, we got to start putting it together better. And hopefully it happens.
Who played well for you last night?
Again, Jessie, the first quarter, got 2 quick fouls and set out almost the entire first quarter, which didn't help us at all either. Then she comes out in the second quarter and she hits 2 threes in a row. She starts hitting some other shots and starts getting other people. Morgan Van Meter starts, she was picking up the slack there, and Jessie ends up with 22. Morgan ends up with 10. Avery King steps up, and especially in the second half, and she hits some buckets for us and ends up with 10 points too. So between those 3, which Avery's usually more on the other side of distributing the ball and the other things, they left her open a few times, and she knocked down some shots and some layups, which was good. And we just again got to have more consistency out of all of them to click together, and so we just again fell short last night.
Tomorrow night, do you see that as a revenge game? Did you play that card or not?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a revenge game because we beat ourselves in that game. For some reason, we like to do that to ourselves. I can't figure out why. You're supposed to love yourself. You're supposed to like yourself. You're supposed to do yourself a favor. And we seem to think we're going to be a little selfish, and we're not. We're going to share the wealth and love with everybody, and then try to get it all back. And, tomorrow night we just got to go take care of business and play our game and not get into a game of fouls and that revenge type. Because when you start doing that, and I've been doing this long enough, when you start getting that revenge feeling of I'm going to get that person, next thing you know, you're in foul trouble. You're so focused on trying to get somebody back that you're missing shots. You're missing assignments where you're supposed to be rotating. And so we just need to go and play the game and have some fun. I use that term, have some fun. It's fun to win. And that's what I think everybody mistakes when a coach says, go out and have some fun. That doesn't mean we go out there and joke around. We go out there and have fun by winning, by putting it all out there on the line, being dog-day tired and giving it all. So that way when it's time to come back into the game or when it's time when the game's over, you can say, I gave it everything I had, and that was fun. And that's what it's all about. So we just got to take care of business tomorrow night.
And what's ahead after that?
Then we got North Newton on Tuesday, the 18th. I believe that's the date, and that's going to be our senior night. We're going to do a senior night that night.
Well, that's going to be you got a big senior class.
6 of them. 6 of those girls are going to be honored that night, and looking forward to that.
It's always an emotional time for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a rough, because I've spent a lot of time with these 6 in particular, and not that all the other seniors that have played for me all have that special place, but I've tried really hard with this group to get them where I think they could be at, to reach that level that I believe they have inside of them, and when
it's
you look
be hard to just keep a group together
like
that
many.
Yeah, and when you get to as fast as this season is going, like holy cow, we're 7 games and then it'll be 6 and then 5 before you know it. We're in sectional. It's one and done, and it's an emotional roller coaster, and you don't want it to end. But at some point, as a coach, you're excited for them to be able to move on. And Tuesday night is going to be an emotional one. It's going to be a tough one, but we're still going to take care of business and send these girls off and keep playing some games. But Tuesday night's going to be there, and then we got the Crossroads game, which will be on a Friday.
You probably don't know who you play
right now. Well, it's either going to be Western, depends on what happens tomorrow night, Western or Lewis Cass, between those two right now. And then we play Frontier, KV, and then Frontier KV, and then Hebron is the last game. So we got some challenges ahead of us still to get us ready for sectional, and we're looking forward to that and the draw and just getting better each and every day.
What do you hope to accomplish in the last part of the season here?
Well, win more games. The school record's 20, and these girls have broken quite a few records so far. And that's one that's circled for them to be able to accomplish that, to beat that 20-game record. And so that's one definitely to see improvement. When you guys come and watch us from the first time, from the last time, when to see, man, these girls have improved since the last time we watched them play. And that ultimate goal is to get these girls that championship that I think they deserve. But I can say that, but we got to go out and do it. We got to put our best foot forward every night and keep getting better and stay focused. It's really easy in today's time and the way things are going with quarantines and COVID and all the distractions you can have, that it's easy to lose sight of what you're trying to do. And sometimes it gets a little foggy, especially when you're a 17, 18-year-old kid who just wants to go out and do what they want to do, and coach is saying, come on back in. We got to get some more shots up, or we got to focus here on what we got to do, and they want to go do something else. So there's some challenges there, but at the end of the day, I just want them to be – I want them to have a great experience.
Has the junior varsity got any action this year or not?
Man, we had 2 quarters the other night. 2 quarters the other night and against Twin Lakes, and they really played first quarter. It's kind of rough because it's been a while since they played.
Yeah.
They didn't get to play against CC because CC didn't. They had quarantine problems. So the girls haven't. Those JV girls in particular haven't played since, before Christmas. So it took them a little while, but they ended up beating Twin Lakes in the 2 quarters, like 31-16. They're playing some really good ball, and so tomorrow night they'll get to play 4 quarters, which they were all excited about.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it for them. And we even had to tell the girls, they were like, wait, so are we playing 4 quarters tomorrow? Because it's been a while since we've done this. So, Coach Van Meter's done a really good job with them, and excited for watching them play tomorrow night and keep getting better as well.
The middle school girls got on their way yet or not?
Well, the middle school girls started Tuesday. Or Monday. They started at BC. BC doesn't have an 8th grade team, so my 8th graders didn't get to play. The 7th graders did. We beat, and the 7th graders beat BC, so that was good for us. And they were supposed to play tonight,
but
at Twin Lakes. But Twin Lakes has shut their middle school down, so those girls didn't get to play tonight. Or I'm sorry, tomorrow night. They were supposed to play tomorrow night, not Wednesday, but Thursday night. They were supposed to play at Twin Lakes, and Twin Lakes is in quarantine, remote learning, so they don't get to play that game. So hopefully next week, fingers crossed, they're supposed to play at DeMont Covenant Christian. They're going to play them on a Tuesday night, which is our senior night, but they're going to get to go play. And I'm really excited about that group. I got some good 8th graders. There's some good talent there with my daughter and Rowland and Cammie Davis and some other girls that are on there, and Addison, and then the 7th grade group is a great group of girls. They play well together, so the future is very bright for what we're doing, and I look forward to going and watching them play some games too.
Well, this year we just go day by day, don't we?
That's all you can do, because if you do anything more than that, you're going to find yourself crossing out a lot of things. We can't do that one. Can't do. So you go day by day. You can't be too upset. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today.
That's right.
I mean, if we all had his schedule, we could go.
There you go.
I could go day by day a lot.
Put your feet up.
Put my feet up.
Really funny, aren't you?
Today,
really
feet
funny.
up. Tomorrow, feet down.
Just want to wake up. That's all I want to do.
Yeah,
wake up. Each
that's
day.
it. The good Lord bless you. Wake up, and that should be kind of blessing enough.
That's right.
And that's, we call it good. So anything else to that is just a blessing. So
well, we made it through another interview. Good luck tomorrow.
Who says I'm done yet? I still got
That's true. That's right. Go look. Say what you want to say right there.
No, we're good. And again, I appreciate you fellas and all that you do, and it's good to be back with you, and looking forward to hopefully a long run in this postseason.
At home
at Rensselaer, and excited about that, and excited about the draw to come up in a few weeks, and we'll see what holds.
And yours an 8-team sectional, right?
8 teams.
There's not many of those around the state
No,
of
there's
Indiana.
not. It's just, you got to take 3 games. It's going to take you 3 games to win the whole thing. You don't get a bye.
No bye, no nothing.
No rest. Between
boom.
North Newton, Boone Grove,
here
North
we go.
Judson, Winnemac, us, South Central, Westville, and Hebron. You got 8 teams that you got to come ready to play.
And it's weird that your sectional is different than the boys.
Let's not get started on that.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
I agree with you 1,000 times over, and 1,000 times more over.
How did it get that way? You know?
So, apparently, I don't like a lot of people down the state don't like me, so they try.
Is that right? That's hard to believe.
I don't know. My brother was coaching. He coaches the middle school games at North Judson, and he said, "Hey, do you know this ref?" And I said, "No, not really." He said, "Well, you made him mad, apparently."
Oh, man.
Because he took it out on me one year.
Oh,
so.
see, your reputation is preceding you there.
I don't know. So
good luck tomorrow. Okay?
All right, thanks, fellas.
All right, Wes Radke from Rensselaer Central Lady Bombers. Back and talk a little KV basketball with Billy Shepard right after this.
If you're looking for some great food before the big game or anytime, stop by the Wagon Wheel Grill on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. From their famous Wagon Masters to their great homemade chili, the Wagon Wheel is the place to go to satisfy your hunger needs. Takeout is also available by calling the Wagon Wheel at 219-866-9942.
Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
For compassionate veterinary care, you can count on Rensselaer Pet Care. Dr. Jan Mallory and Dr. Nick Mallory are now seeing patients at their new facility located at 1370 St. Gaspar Drive North in Rensselaer behind Walmart. We treat your pet like a member of the family. From wellness exams and vaccines to complex surgical procedures, your dog or cat will receive high-quality care at our hospital. Boarding is also available. For more information or to check hours of operation, contact Rensselaer Pet Care at 219-866-4671.
Back on the Coach's Cage here from Arnie's. I'd like to thank Beth and the crew for feeding the coaches and giving them drinks. So we do appreciate that very much. We should say Friday night, here's our schedule, at least for the next few games. Friday night, we'll be up at Kankakee Valley again. It's Kankakee Valley week this week as Cougars will host Twin Lakes. It's a 5 o'clock JV start, so we'll be on air around, who knows when the JV game's over, about 6:15 to 6:30, somewhere around there, as we try and get the Cougars another victory. Boy, they looked good last night. And then Tuesday night, it'll be, as Wes said, senior night at Rensselaer Central as the Lady Bombers take on North Newton. We'll have that game for you. Don't know the game time. I can't remember what time the JV starts, but anyway, 6:45 or 7:50, somewhere around there. We'll tell you about that later. Then Coach's Cage next Wednesday, right here at 6 o'clock. Bill Shepard stepped in behind the microphone from the Kankakee Valley Cougars. We were up there last night for the North Newton game. We'll talk about that. But, Billy, you've got a lot of games to talk about, right?
Yeah, we were pretty busy over the break. We went up to Highland for the second time, 2 years in a row. Go up to Highland for their holiday tournament. It's pretty neat little tournament, an 8-teamer that you're able to get 3 games in. So
in 2 days?
It was a 3-day tournament, but we played the second day and then the third day.
Okay.
So we were pretty busy. The first game we played was Portage, who's having a really, really, really good year. I think they lost their third game of the year last night to Hanover Central, but they've been playing really well. Played them in the first round. Got out to a slow start, got down 17-7 at the end of the first quarter, and got down actually 14 or 15 early in the second quarter. But then we've fought our way back, and they're a physical ball club, and I think that's kind of what we weren't used to really at that time. But anyway, fought our way back and actually had a 3-pointer. About 6 minutes left in the game, had a 3-pointer to cut to 1, but rimmed in and out. And then they hit some free throws down the stretch and wound up winning 50-42 on us. But it was a good game. We showed a lot of fight coming back and getting down that much to a high quality team like Portage and making some adjustments and coming back. And I actually got to see some things defensively that I didn't think we could do against them, but we were able to do later in the game. So we get Portage in our place the last Saturday in January, so that's going to be that'll be nice to get them again and see what we learned from the first time around. Really got hurt on the boards that night, or that morning actually, just because they're such a strong physical team. So we're going to have to work on that a little bit. But scoring-wise, that game, sophomore Cam Webster led us with 15, and senior Luke Andre, he was pretty sick that morning, but he had 14 points for us, and that was our 2 guys in double figures. We actually Nick Mikosh that was his first game back off of a 2-week quarantine situation. So you could tell he was rusty. He had 9 that night or that morning, but anyway, like I said, it was a good test for us. I mean, we hung in there, and it's especially those types of games in tournaments. It's just about what you can learn from them. So we got a loss there, but we're able to play about 6 hours later at night. So moving on to the next game, we got to play Gary Lighthouse, which is a 3A team up there, and we actually won that one 81-63. Came out on fire. Scored 31 points in the first quarter.
Wow.
31 points in the first quarter, and that's probably not the most amazing thing I'll tell you about the game even, but we it was just one of those games where, you saw us last night, sometimes we shoot well, and we just had one of those games where things were falling and we were playing really confident. Actually, Luke Andre did not play that night because of his sickness in the morning. We kind of said, hey, just go home and take care of yourself, and so we were pretty short-handed that night, but we did what we had to do. Played really, really good aggressive defense with our trapping, and got out to a pretty sizable lead. We were actually up about 27 in the fourth quarter, and then wound up, like I said, winning by 18, 81-63. Obviously had a lot of scoring, but the sophomore Cam Webster that game had 41.
41.
41.
Is that a school record?
No? I mean, 43 or 45 is a school record. He had 7 threes that game, and it was, it was just one of those games where the rim must have just looked like a hula hoop up there, and he was just throwing everything in there. So he had 41. Nick Mikosh, senior, had 15, and then Hayden Days, our 6'7" junior, he scored 12 that game. So it was obviously a fun game, a good bounce-back game from the Portage game earlier in the morning. Gary Lighthouse is a school, those types of schools we typically don't play well against, just because of the style that they play. But obviously we turned the tables a little bit on them and kind of played their style a little bit better than they did. So I'm pretty happy with that game.
Okay.
So on the very next day, we played at noon against Hanover Central, another 3A team who's not in our section anymore. They've been in our section the last couple of years, but they're not in our section anymore. One of those games where we didn't have Luke Andre again, so we were a little bit shorthanded. But kids came out really with a lot of energy, and I think they spent it all in like the first quarter. We were up 18-0 at the end of the first.
18-0?
Yeah, and I think after that it was just like we figured out that we were playing our third game in 25 hours, and it was just like, whew. And they looked at the scoreboard, they saw they were up 18-0, and it was like, let's just basically tread water and get the heck out of here. And we wound up winning that game 55-42. So basically, after the first quarter, it was just, it was a 15 to 17 point game most of the time.
You see that a lot, don't you? Where you get to a certain point in the game and it kind of plays even the rest of the time.
Yeah, and like I said, especially in our situation where like the team we played on the third day, they were the same standing or whatever you want to say as the first day. So they had the day off in between.
I see.
To play, and all of our 4 teams, the Portages, the Munsters, us, and the Lighthouse, we're playing 2 games and then coming right back and playing another game, So it was. But that was a good challenge for our guys too. Playing 3 games in 25, 26 hours. That's a good challenge for us. And we were gassed. You could see. Even coming out of the locker room halftime, I was telling the coaches, I said, we're done. I said, we're just spent. And I drove myself up there because with later games, we were playing Munster later in the week, which I'll talk about here in a second. We were playing Munster the following week, and they played after us. I drove myself, so I didn't ride the bus back. I'm going to stay and scout, And I'm sitting there watching Munster. I'm texting my assistant. I'm like, I'm wore out. I can't even imagine how these kids are, So, and that was just me coaching for 3 games in 2 days. So, in that game, we had Will Sampson, senior, led us with 14 points. Had a really good ball game for us. Sophomore Cam Webster scored 13 again, and senior Nick Mikosh had 10. So we had 3 in double figures there. Like I said, we got out to that early lead, and that was kind of good enough for us, I think, on that day.
All right.
So that was the tournament. Now we got last Friday night. We hosted Munster, and basically the conference championship game. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch or anything like that, but our conference is a little bit down this year, with the exception of us and Munster, and we were kind of looking forward to this game because obviously Munster's been a high-profile program for many years, and we thought that this was a year that we had an opportunity to knock them off and take the conference from them, especially having them at home. But Munster's one of those teams that, at the end of the day, Munster doesn't beat Munster. You have to beat them, and that they're fundamental. They're always at least pretty well skilled, and they don't make mistakes. And it was we thought we got killed on the glass again, but when I did stats, it actually wound up that we out rebounded them. So I was kind of wrong there. But I told the kids we out rebounded them 28-24. we shot 59% from the floor, and we lose by a point. And you just don't do that very often in those types of games. But on the flip side, we turned the ball over 20 times. Where Munster only turned it over 7. They don't beat themselves.
Right.
We did just enough to beat ourselves. And, so we are, I told the kids after the game, you are right there. You are right there with some of the best programs in the area. We just got to take the next step in shoring ourselves up and not making some of the mistakes that we make. In my opinion, the way we shoot the ball, if we don't turn it over, we're going to be a tough out for about anybody. And that's just, and even when we turned it over 20 times, we were tied 57-57. And
well, take us through the game first,
okay.
and then go at the end, okay?
Awesome. First of all, pretty good crowd overall. Awesome game to watch, I think, from a fan standpoint, because we would be up 6 and then be tied. Munster would be up 4, then be tied. We'd be up 5, then it was just a back and forth game the entire night. We were up by 2 at the end of the first quarter, 10-8. And like I said, I can't really say anything more of every quarter than it was just a back and forth quarter. And like Munster was up by 1.5 points. 27-26, and then third quarter was just as tight. Munster outscored us 15-13, and they were up 3 in the going in the fourth quarter, 42-39. And actually, they got up by about 7 with about 3 minutes left, and then Luke Andre went on I think they were up 6, and then Luke Andre went on a personal 8-2 run. He hit 2 threes back to back. And then he had a putback with 20 seconds left to tie it up at 57. And that was about it. When I was telling some people when he hit that putback to tie it up at 57, that's probably as loud as that gym as I've heard in a long time. And then, Munster comes down. And when it's tied up at 57, Munster comes down. And we're all excited. The kids are all excited. We're playing man-to-man defense. And, Munster, we kind of got Munster trapped. They weren't going to get a shot off, but the kid shows us the ball. We reach. And 1.8 seconds left, about half court. The ref calls a foul, and they missed the first, hit the second, and that's it. And it's just one of those where, did we reach? Yeah. Do a lot of refs probably not blow that whistle at the end of the game? Yeah, but we reached. We got anxious. As I told Sabidi after the game, we're not in these situations too often in these types of games. So we just got a little anxious, and
you didn't have a chance at the last second then to.
Well, we had 1.8. We had full court. We drew up a play, and we made a 3/4 court pass that we didn't handle, and so we didn't get a shot up. So, but it was a situation where credit to Munster, they made the plays, and they we kind of got a little over antsy there at the end, and kind of got our hand in the cookie jar type deal, and got caught but I would have loved to go to overtime because we obviously scoring, coming back that way. I thought we had all the momentum on our side at that point. But it is what it is. They were they're a solid ball club. They're not as talented as Munster used to be. But once again, it's not always talent. You still got to beat them. And Munster's going to make sure if they lose, you beat them. They're not going to do it on their own. So
who played well for you?
Luke Andre, Sr., came back after missing the last few games at Highland tournament and led us with 22. Had a great night. Like I said, he really lit it up there the last couple minutes in the game. Scored, actually, out of his 22, he scored 12 of them in the fourth quarter. Nick Mikosh, another senior, had 11 for us. So it was those two were in double figures. We had a couple guys with 7. Senior Will Sampson had 7, and sophomore Cam Webster had 7 too. So, we had some decent scoring there too. But like I said, it was a good game. We played at a high level. Just didn't get the win, and it's gonna stink losing conference by 1 point. But it is what it is. So,
what'd you say to your ball club after the game?
I told him I was proud with the way we fought back there at the end. There's a lot of times where, especially when we're playing Munster and we get down by 6 or 7, we fold. We didn't do that. We had confidence in ourselves all the way to the end, and we fought all the way to the end, and that's really good. And I told him, I'm like, this could be the best game of the year for you if you take it the right way, and just continue to play at that level. Continue to build from those things you did and cut down on some of your mistakes, and you're going to be really, really good. But, that game should prove to us that we can play with about anybody. Because, anybody that we need to play with anyway. And, because Munster is obviously one of the premier programs in our area. So, we're gonna take that as a good learning experience for us, and we're going to hopefully keep building from there.
And then last night, right?
Yep, last night. Last night, obviously, North Newton came to town, and it was a pretty good game for us. You guys were there to see it, and I thought the game itself kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start the first couple minutes. It was just kind of choppy there for the first couple minutes. I don't know if we were still doing the little Munster hangover thing, or it was just kind of one of those deals where it's a Tuesday night and you're not really used to playing on a Tuesday night or whatever. But it was kind of slow to start with. But obviously I think we picked it up pretty good. A lot of teams have trouble with our trap, and North Newton was no different. They had issues with our trap, and we're so long when we trap in the half court that as long as we're active, we create a lot of issues for teams.
And you get them trapped in the proper spots too, right?
Yeah, this group I have has been so coachable. That's fine. They just listen to things, and it's like, and I was telling my assistant, it's like I just remember having to like yell a lot when I coached and stuff. In this group, I don't have to do any of that. It's just, they're so into what we're doing. It's just you just talk about, hey, how about you think about this? How about you think about that? And they just do it automatically. It's yes sir, and it's just a really good atmosphere. And like I said, they're so coachable and so teachable that it's just been a pleasure. I'm dealing with the group. So, but yeah, like I said, we ran our trap, I thought, in the first half really well. We were up 20-9 at the end of the first quarter. Exploded in the second quarter, scored 27 in the second quarter, and we were up 47-21 at half. And we took the trap off at halftime and just played half court man-to-man defense the rest of the game. Still had a pretty good third quarter though. I scored 24 in the third quarter, and we were up 71-33 going into the fourth, and kind of just played it out after that. Obviously we had the bench in the fourth quarter and just kind of played it out after that to wind up winning 79-37.
And you had the fast break working last night too.
Oh yeah. That's one of the things when we watched film against Munster, one of the things that we were really disappointed in ourselves is because we like to transition. We want to transition. We want to look for transition first before anything else. Let's put it that way. And we were really disgusted when we watched the film of the Munster game about how we did not look for it. We let Munster dictate the tempo because we didn't even look for our tempo. And when we watched the film, we would stop at like every other possession, every third possession. We're like, could we have transitioned here? And they're like, yeah, the wing's open. Why didn't we pass it ahead? Why? Just because it says Munster on their jersey, you feel like you can't pass it ahead or something like that? So we were just so disgusted about that Monday in practice, that's literally all we worked on, was just getting the ball down the floor quick. And you saw last night we got the ball down the floor pretty quick. But when we play Twin Lakes on Friday or whoever we play, that has to be what we look for first. Now, if they take it away, they take it away. Whatever, I got no problem with that. But we can't take it away. We have to look for it.
And Bill, what'd you say the KV was in the third quarter? They didn't miss a shot, right?
Didn't miss a shot as far as what I had them down.
11 for 11, I think, in that one you said?
Yep. Just.
Have you ever had a quarter where you haven't missed a shot?
Never had a quarter. Never had a quarter like that. So you can't get a whole lot better than that, I don't think. But
Bill, I think it seems like your team. Any given night you could or should probably have 3 double-figure scores.
Yeah.
And they could be. And come from like 6-7 guys.
Yeah, we have a lot. We're just a tough team to prepare for in that regard. We just have a lot of people that, like you said, can just put the ball in the basket and get the job done in a lot of different ways. It's not just 3-pointers. We can put the ball in the basket at the rim. We can make mid-range jumpers. We hit our free throws. So we have a lot of people that can score in double figures. We almost had 5 in double figures last night. Cam Webster led us with 19. Senior Nick Mikosh had 16. Colton Pribble, our point guard, junior, in that first game he's ever scored in double figures with 13. Luke Andre, another solid game where he has 10, and then Hayden Days, he had 8. So we were right there with almost had 5 in double figures last night. So
it's nice. They're not all seniors or all sophomore. Nice blend. They seems like they play well together as a group.
They do, and that's one thing that I always think of. Because coaches obviously are in the present, but you also think about down the road too in the future and stuff like that. But and I think to myself, there's a lot of nights that I start only 2 seniors. Last night I started 3 with Will Sampson in there, but typically that's Hayden Days that's in there. So typically I only start 2 seniors, and so yeah, we got a lot of guys that can score, but there's like you said, there's a lot of younger guys that will be coming back that can still score too, and you guys saw the JV last night, they put some points up on the board, so there's there's other artillery coming, So, it's but the key is, like you said, getting them to blend together, and this team looks like they just get along so well, and we shared, like last night, I think I told you guys after the game, I was just impressed with how we shared the basketball, make the extra pass, and people say, well, they played a zone against you. Well, that's typically when we just come down and chuck it, But we seem to share the basketball. We would go inside out before we would shoot the three, and we would look to attack the rim against the zone a lot of times. So I'm just impressed by that kind of stuff, and as long as we keep doing that, we'll continue to get better as a group.
Yeah, that nice back pick dunk with a lob from the top of the key to Days for the dunk, with a back pick, right?
Yeah, I actually when I got back to my classroom, I queued up your guys' broadcast and wanted to see the play, from there, and just to see, as a coach, coaches are kind of weird because they want to watch plays like that about 10 times just to see everybody's reaction, to kind of gauge how, I guess, into it every player is,
right?
And also looking at the bench and stuff like that to see who's reacting and stuff like that, and so I watched that, and then the next time down we ran something very similar, and I heard you guys comment on, hey, it's the same play, but actually that play set up the next play, because instead of having Days come in for the dunk, we had him come in to set the pick for Webster to come out to shoot that three. So it was kind of like the first play set up the second play, and that's kind of a sequence we do, but we typically do it the other direction, where we have the Webster three first to set up the dunk play second. But we didn't. I don't know why. We just felt like doing it the other way last night and just figured to get the dunk in first.
Another thing I noticed with Cam Webster in the first half, he would be on the right side of the floor. But in the second half, he'd stay on that side of the floor and be on the left side of the floor. Is that standard practice for him, or is that?
That's just kind of how it fell in last night. We like to keep him on the right side. We want him ahead of because typically teams bring it up the right side, and we would like him to be the one ahead of the ball because we want to get ahead to him when we can.
Right.
But it just whatever side him and Andre seem to find themselves on, that's just when we get the rebound, that's just the side they take. So
right.
And that's just kind of the way it worked out last night.
Well, what's your record now, Bill?
Hold on, you stumped me here. Are we like 8-3 now or something like that? I think we're 8-3.
8-3.
He's got it right there.
Okay.
Yep.
So halfway through, assess where you're at right here.
I think we're doing really well. We're winning the games I think that we're supposed to win. I think we still got some challenges that we like with the Valpo game. Valpo was really good. Valpo's Valpo. I was happy with the Portage game, even though we didn't win. We got them coming up again, and the Munster game. I'm a little bit. I'm upset with the Munster game only for the fact that I wanted the kids to win the conference. That's the only reason I'm upset with that game. I thought we played at a really good level. I think we're doing fine. I think we're right there. I would like for us to win some games maybe down the stretch that maybe people would be like, well, that's a pretty good win.
Right.
Just to get us on a little bit more of a roll that way. That's what I thought the Lighthouse game was really good for us because, losing to Portage and playing a team like that, like right away, probably when you hear Gary Lighthouse, you're probably figuring, hey, KV's probably going to lose by about 10 or something like that, but we come and win by 18, and people probably say, well, it's a pretty good win. So I just want a couple of those down the stretch where it's like, where people can look at and say, man, they must have played pretty well on that night. And not that we haven't, we have, but it's not March yet. And every day in practice we keep building and working on little things, and like the other day before North Newton, we were so mad at how many offensive rebounds we gave up on free throws to Munster. We literally took a half-hour of practice and worked on lining up on the free throw line and blocking people out. But because if you're going to win a sectional or a regional or whatever, that might beat you, and you don't want that to beat you. And that's why, you talk about Munster and not losing and not beating themselves. They do those things, and that's what we got to learn from games like that, and I think we are. So we're, B+, A-, we're doing pretty well, and obviously we still got a little bit of room for improvement, and kids are enjoying it. That's the main thing. If the kids are having fun and getting along and working well together, that's the main thing anyway. So
one of those nice wins maybe could come Friday night, right?
We're looking forward to it.
Tell us about Twin Lakes. We're going to be there for that one, the live stream right here on 3KG. So tell us about it.
Twin Lakes is it's a tough game for us every year. They play really well against us, or maybe we don't play very well against them. I don't know what it is, but just every year they just frustrate us. So, it's a really good challenge for us mentally to get by that team and play well against them. I mean, we're happy we have them at home because Twin Lakes is a tough place to go play. As far as their team this year, really, and just a up and down year for them. It's kind of a tough team to figure out. We watched film on them tonight after practice, actually, as a team, and their best player has been out for about 2 weeks. If you go by points per game, anyway, their best player's been out for about 2 weeks. Has some type of foot injury, so who knows if he's going to play against us or not. But with him in the lineup, this is just kind of like what Twin Lakes has been this year. With him in the lineup against Benton Central earlier this year, they lost by 26. Last week, with him out of the lineup, they won by 6 against Benton Central. So
How do you figure?
Yeah, it is one of those teams where it's literally what night you catch them is how it's going to be.
Sure.
They're either going to come in there and they're going to play good team basketball and like they did against Benton Central this last game, and give you everything you want for 32 minutes, or it's going to be one of those games where, like the first time against Benton Central, they just go out there and you don't even know kind of what they're doing, and I don't even know if half the time they realized what they were doing, and just one of those situations where it was just a bad night. So. That's what we told the kids all that stuff, and they're just tough to figure out. So it's kind of a, as a coaching standpoint, it's kind of an uneasy night to go into because, I'm pretty sure I know what we're going to show you, but I really don't know what Twin Lakes is going to show you, and but we can kind of help that too a little bit by the way we play. So what we're looking forward to today. You're right, that could be a big win for us as we get down the road.
And what about after that? Is there anything Saturday night or no?
Nothing Saturday night. Next we're back next week. We got a Tuesday, Friday next week. We're at Knox, a sectional opponent, and then we have Lowell coming in on next week Saturday for a conference game. So a couple games next week too that hopefully we can get some wins and get rolling because. From a coach, I got that Portage game circled in a few weeks, so we'd like to get on a roll going into there.
Aren't we there for the Lowell game too, Bill? 3 KG?
I think we are. Let's see, I'll tell you.
You got the schedule there. Seems like, what date is that going to be? The
22nd?
22nd?
Yeah. January 22nd,
Well,
we'll be there.
Awesome.
We'll have that one for you. So
I'll tell you what, it's like, you guys might as well just set up shop there for a while.
We are, yeah. So tell us about the JV Cougars.
JV is doing pretty well. I believe they're 6-3 right now. So they were supposed to have a tournament up at Munster over the break, but Munster had COVID, so at the JV level anyway. So they were unable to participate in that. So they're a couple games shorter than we are. But yeah, they've had a pretty good year. We don't have quite the numbers on JV as we usually do, but they play pretty well together. One of our better JV players, he's a 6'5" kid, really pretty good player. He's been out for about 3 or 4 weeks now with a foot injury. He had a broken bone in his foot. He's about a week and a half away from returning, so I would say maybe around that Lowell time, he'll be back around. Maybe that might be the last game he might sit out. It'll be right around then. But yeah, they're playing pretty well. They had a big win last night. Against North Newton, so they're going to get on a little bit of a roll here too, I think, and have some fun down the stretch. So and our freshman team I think is 8-2, so pretty good things going on right now.
Billy, thanks a lot for coming down, and we'll see you Friday night.
Yep, we'll be there.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Bill Shepard from the Kankakee Valley Cougars back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's Pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
If you're looking for some great food before the big game or anytime, stop by the Wagon Wheel Grill on South College Avenue in Rensselaer. From their famous wagon masters to their great homemade chili, the Wagon Wheel is the place to go to satisfy your hunger needs. Takeout is also available by calling the Wagon Wheel at 219-866-9942.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Finding yourself in need of a quick repair or realize your home needs a good amount of updating? Who should I call? Call Make It Better Contracting for your solutions. They find time for new builds, remodels, and additions. Even when the roof leaks, your kitchen needs to be bigger, or you need another bathroom. Make It Better Contracting is your full-service contractor. If you own a project home that is in need of a lot of work, Make It Better Contracting is interested in purchasing your home. Call today at 219-863-0851. Together, we can make it better.
Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
Welcome back to Arnie's Pizzeria, right across from college, St. Joseph's College, Rensselaer. We're back with the Coach's Cage show, finally, after a couple of weeks off for the holiday break. I want to thank all of our area coaches and the good folks here at Arnie's Pizzas for being our great hosts every week. And we'll take you right out through the next couple of months here now, straight on through every Wednesday with coaches, taking a look forward and a look behind at some of the action, some of the games we've got coming up on our schedule. Of course, our next game that we talked about is with Billy Shepard here, just our latest interview, coach of the boys at KV. That's what we'll be back at Kankakee Valley on Friday night and see Twin Lakes at KV. And then next week we'll have a busy week with the girls' game at Tuesday night. And that's a big one because it's senior night in a big senior class at Rensselaer Central. And a local game, too. Area squads, North Newton at Rensselaer Central. So a lot of different reasons to be out there. And again, that's just audio only on that one, folks. We only have... okay. Yeah, audio only from Rensselaer games. That's the one school that we have not had any permission to do our video taping. But then we'll have a doubleheader on January 21st, which is that Friday, a week from this coming Friday. And that's the boys-girls doubleheader, North White at North Newton. And Saturday, we're back at KV again for Lowell at KV. Lowell is struggling this year, I know, so the Cougars probably looking forward to fattening up the record there a little bit next Saturday. And then after that, the rest of January closes out with a girls' game, traditional rivalry, Rensselaer at KV this year on the 25th. That's a Tuesday. And January 28th is the final Friday of the month, and that's Tri-County at South Newton boys. February shows a month of 5 boys contests, and it starts February 3rd, North Newton at Tri-County. February 11th is Benton Central at Tri-County. If I'm not mistaken, that's usually an afternoon game during girls' sectional play, or they usually have boys.
February 5th? Is that what it is?
It's February 11th.
That'd be the regional week.
It'd be regional week, but that normally BC and Tri-County ends up being an afternoon matinee game. We'll see what it is this year. February 15th is KV at Rensselaer boys. That's a Tuesday. And then the 18th is West Central at North White. And the 19th is North Newton at South Newton.
Chad Pulver has joined us now from the Rensselaer Central Bombers. Chad, good to see you. It's been a while since you had a big long break, didn't you, over the holidays? And you had some illness too, right?
We had a lot of illness. Yes, we did.
Tell us how you are health-wise first.
We're still dealing with it. So we had a few on the coaching staff that had to deal with COVID specifically, and we had a handful of players that were dealing with it as well. And so as any team that has to come back from that, for players especially, once they return, there's a protocol. So you have to make sure you go through at least 4 days of practice that's controlled, and then once you get through those 4 days of controlled practice, they allow you to go live. And if that goes well, then you can play a game. And so we made it through, but I can tell you that the guys that were ill over break, it was rough for them. And so they were dealing with their illness. Some of them were, it was 10 to 14 days of being under the weather. And then they come back, and we're trying to work them back in. So you have multiple weeks of not running, not doing much of anything, trying to get back into it, but only having a handful of days. It's hard to get your aerobics back up. It's hard to be able to run like you can. And so it is a process, and so we're working on that. And so we're trying, just like a lot of teams are. So I don't know that we're all that different than other teams are dealing with, but it's certainly been a headache for us.
Yeah, it's weird because Tri-County, they had to shut out operations for a whole week. And now North White boys basketball is going through that too, where they don't have any basketball activities at all. So does each school set different parameters on how that works?
Well, the return to play is monitored by the CDC, so that I think is part of it. And we were over break, and so we went 2 weeks with really not having practice. We went one week where, as much as I don't like canceling practice ever, we did not meet as a team.
Right.
And the luck of it was that we had some holidays in there, so we wouldn't have practiced anyway. So
right.
We wouldn't have practiced New Year's Day or Christmas Day. And so because of the illness, we just shut it down. And because the illness was traveling so quickly through the team, it was just better for us not to get together.
Right.
And so then we were able to leverage that time on break. And then as we were starting to come back from it, it was a guess every day of who was going to show up.
It still is probably, right?
It feels that way.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that we had a couple guys. We practiced this in the mornings on Wednesday, and I was getting messages at 4:45 and 5 a.m., Coach, I'm not feeling well. And so the blanket answer is don't come if you're not feeling well, because, you rewind even just a couple years ago, and it's like, are you really not feeling well, or can you just come and be here and be in the gym? No, don't come to the gym.
Times have changed.
Yeah, you do not come to the gym if you're not feeling well, because the issue is that if you have something that is that contagious like what's going around right now, we can't risk you being in the gym and shutting everything down for us again. So it is a process. We're learning just like everyone else how to get through it, and still trying to play basketball in the mix of it. And so we all love basketball, and that's why we're doing this. At the same time, it is secondary to making sure the kids are okay. I mean, we have guys that had it last year, and they still have some ailments that, we don't necessarily want to talk too much about, but there are times where they get exhausted, or something happens, and I mean, it takes a toll on the body. And so we're still learning what all that is, and hoping for the best as we continue to move through
it was kind of obvious as we watched last week being there for the Central Catholic doubleheader. Some of your guys, I mean, they weren't themselves.
No, you're right.
Chapman's shot, I've never seen him struggle as bad as for a full game.
Yeah.
And you could just tell he was having some, he wasn't getting the lift that he normally gets, and things weren't just normal.
It was odd, and so we are certainly trying to work through it. We were trying to do skill work this week. We're trying to make sure that we're polishing those plays. We're trying to make sure that the in and out of the substitutions, the rotations, the where we need to be on the floor, how we're going to play the defense, like all of the X's and O stuff, we're still trying to work through. But ultimately, we still have to be able to get up and down. We still have to be able to play defense. We still have to put the shot in the hole. And so that's what we're still trying to figure out, is where are we going to be. And one of the things that if I could go back and change a lot of the CC game, even though we were trying to rotate guys in, and some of those subs that were going in weren't ready. They physically were not ready to return. And so in that moment of adapting to what was happening, I think we just slid gears a little bit too much when we wanted to put particular guys in, and it was clear that there was either a mental fog, or their physicality of being able to be where they would normally be wasn't there. We can't keep them on the floor and hope it's going to work out in the next 4 minutes. I mean, we had to rotate guys in, and then we shortened the bench, and so it just was. I think overall, as I even spoke that night, I was very happy with how hard the guys played. And after watching that game, looking at the first 10 points we gave up, we were kind of out of sorts. And with that being out of sorts, we go down 0-10. We fight back. We take the lead in the third quarter, and then we fight all the way through the third. It's a 4-point game basically throughout the whole third quarter. And in the last minute, we have 3 back-to-back turnovers, and that puts it at a 9-point game, which is where we lost the game. And so, I mean, we went point for point in the fourth quarter, and we had, I think we let them shoot 27 free throws. So, I mean, we were fouling in the fourth quarter just to try to get more possessions, and they were making free throws. And so, all that being said, we played a solid game, but it wasn't enough to beat a team like that. And then that's what we're trying to get to. That's the goal, is to beat really good teams. And they're a good team. And because of those 7 possessions, that was the difference in the game. And so we have to get to where we handle those 7 possessions properly, and then we walk out with a W.
So does this world we live in now, does that change your coaching philosophy, or will it change it in the future?
The quick answer is yes. It is changing. It is changed. How I respond to players, how I respond to requests or statements, it's very different now than even what it was a couple years ago before all of this came undone. And I think it's out of necessity. I mean, at this point, an illness is handled differently than what I would have done before. Even a bang-up injury is handled differently. The reality is that I am a psychologist. I look at things a little bit different than a lot of people, but our kids are under stress all the time now. They're in the classroom. They're under stress.
Right.
They're with kids that potentially are ill or not ill, or given vaccination or not given vaccination. They're continually, if they're called down to the office, am I going home because I'm quarantined? Is mom or dad quarantined? Are they ill? Are they dealing with things? And I mean, it is a whole different level of stress. And so through all of this, we're still trying to play a sport that is mentally and physically taxing, sometimes grueling. And as much as I love it, as much as I want it to be, the number one thing we talk about, realistically, it isn't. And so we don't necessarily allow that to disrupt everything we do in practice. But I'm very aware of what the stress is on the guys, and trying to make sure that when they're on the floor, we're being part of the solution and not adding to the problems.
And how do you get physically fit in this day and age? Is that hard to do?
I think it's more difficult because of the potential of on and off that can happen. So we've experienced that a couple times already, where we have been in good shape, and then that shape is disrupted because of injuries or because of illness or because of a shutdown, and then it's trying to get it back up. And oh, by the way, you still have to play a game. So the schedule, if it's not bumped around, on paper, we're supposed to be able to play against CC and be able to play. But in reality, we probably needed another 2 or 3 days to make sure guys were ready to play. And we played the game, we did okay, but it wasn't the win that we wanted. And so in that way, we do the best we can, but there's just no guarantees with it.
Is it, like, does it ever question when are the powers that be, when are they going to sit back and say, they're going to pull the plug on it again? You know, I mean, that's awful drastic. It sounds awful drastic, but the last time they did it, it was in the middle of the tournament. You know, it's like, that was pretty drastic, too.
It can happen. I mean, I will be very honest with you. I sat down with our athletic director early in the fall, and then again just before we started, and we kind of just nodded like, we're going to give it our best go. But at any point, they can pull the plug. And I think because of that, I know I've approached it as every day we get, every game we get it's gold.
It's like a bonus.
It is, because we don't know if it's coming back. And now that my sons I have one who's a junior and one who's an 8th grader, and for them to be able to play any semblance of a season is important, because I don't know when and if it's going to get pulled. I do know that both of them lost their track season that 1 year, and I mean it's devastating to those kids. And if it's your main sport, I mean, at least for my boys right now, basketball seems to be their priority, and they have other sports that they do. But those kids that the spring is their main sport, whether it's baseball or softball or track and field or the other possibilities that they could be a part of, to lose that in a whole year, and some of them were their senior year and they don't get to play it, like, that's devastating. Devastating. Well, you guys are happy tonight. Thanks for having me on.
Sorry.
Let's talk about it. We talked a little bit about the CC game. Take us through the game and into more detail of what you did.
Sure. So we hosted Central Catholic on Saturday, and it was a doubleheader. So the girls were on the floor before us, and then we played, and I thought had game planned very well. We knew their personnel very specifically and what they were trying to do, and it played out. Unfortunately, I think the opening tip, which we had tipped the correct way, but it was pulled out of the hands of one of our own players, and then it immediately went down for a lob layup. And so it was 0-2. We go right up the sideline and miss a layup. And so that's how the game started for us, is that we gave up an easy 2. They didn't have to play any offense at all, got 2 points. We came down and missed a layup. They came down with another long pass, and we're mixed up because we're not seeing how quickly it's coming. Now it's 4-0. And so that's how quickly it happened. And then the next time down, we take a shot, and we are trying to run an offense. They get it out, throw it up the floor again, not seeing where the ball is going, and now it's 6-0. And so, and then we give up an offensive rebound and a score, and then their final one, which was to make it 10-0. We forced them to run an offense, forced them into a bad shot, and they get 2 offensive rebounds and put it back in. That's 10-0. So then we right the ship, we figure it out, we finish the quarter, and we're down 10-21. And so we survive, we get through it. By the end of the half, it is 21-20. And we come back in the third, we take the lead, we fight it out, we're hanging with them, and like I said, in that third quarter, they put a 1-minute streak together, and we end up finishing that quarter down by 9. And then we go 19 for us, 19 for them in the fourth quarter, and we end up losing 59-50. And so overall, we were, again, you take away those 7-8 possessions, and it's a different ending to that game. And when I watched the film, you can see the crowd relax. You see their team relax at the end of the third quarter. They were on pins and needles. They were uncomfortable. They were playing a style that they weren't happy with. And then they got those 3 turnovers off from us and turned them into points. And then they're laughing and they're joking and they relax, and we couldn't pull back that second time.
Who played well for you?
We had a few different people that played well. Defensively, Noel Marchand and Corbin Matthew both played very well. They were doing everything we asked them to do. I thought Tate Drone had a very solid game. Tristan Wietrick put the ball in the hole very well for us. I thought Cass Pulver did a really nice job getting up and down the floor and being a body and honestly putting some screens on people to open things up. So I feel like our guys were doing a lot of things well, and trying to figure out what some of those rotations were. And as I mentioned, we shortened the rotation from coming from the bench more than what we wanted to do. And in that moment, our adaptability, we probably should have put in more legs than we did in that first half, and it probably would have helped, as you were referring to, the shots not falling. I think that would have helped us when we needed to hit those shots, and rather than having it be a little bit short or a little bit flat, we probably would have had the legs to do it. So that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do is figure out those rotations and get us in the right spots and get the right guys on the floor. And so we have spent a lot of time this week working with those and putting guys in different situations and having a lot of individual meetings and talking about what are the roles and where people are going to be, and trying to get them to come in the game or get out of the game and have that be. One of the really positive steps we took this last week was the guys were actually acknowledging when they were winded or when they needed to break, and they were letting us know when we were trying to get someone in. So that's a big step. It's hard for someone to take themselves out of the game for the fear of, am I really going to get to come back? And so that trust of their teammate coming in and being able to hold court, number one, but then also trusting that you're going to get back in the game. And so I thought that was a good step for us.
Do you have a set time of when you make your substitutions, or who's going to be in first, or who's going to be in second, or when they go in, or does that play out differently each game?
Well, I used to do a lot more by feel, like let's just see how it's going to go. But honestly, if we're going to go everything by feel, then that doesn't make a lot of sense logically. All week long, we're watching these kids, we're evaluating these kids. And so this year, I sat down with Coach Fagley, and we sit and we do it with the JV and the varsity game, and we plot out who is going in at what time. And there's always a few seconds here or there, half a minute there, half a minute there. So it's not like it's 4:45 you have to go in the game, but it's more along the lines of this person tends to be exhausted, that's not the right word, but winded or tired or needs something, or we need to shuffle something at that 6-minute mark. And so where are we going to start? Well, usually with bigs, they're banging and they're slamming and they're running block to block. And so it's like, all right, if we start that rotation and then we also start with a guard rotation, we can go 1 or 2 people in, 1 or 2 people out. So that's already 7 guys that have touched the floor. So one of the things that we've talked about is how do we get those 8 to 10 guys in every quarter if we can. And then that gives us that up to that half part where those 2 quarters we have legs in. Everyone's been able to touch the floor. They've been in and out, so that way they get a feel for the game. Third quarter, you get to feel a little bit more. And then the fourth quarter is you got to know by that point who's playing well. And so when we've played well, I feel like that's what we've done, is we've tried to keep those same people in those rotations. And so over the year, I think it's gotten better and better, and the guys have started to trust that a little bit more. It was just an unusual night on Saturday.
And you don't want to you want to keep a starter or 2 in there with the reserves too, don't you? You don't want to have substitute 5 for 5.
We've done it before,
yeah.
But they're used that 5 for 5 isn't necessarily 5 best for 5 second. It's sometimes
right.
we have a couple guys on the bench, and so when they're going in with 3 other ones, we're still entering those 2 starters or scorers or whatever they might be. So they might be entering as sometimes the timing is where there's a long possession where there's no dead ball, then you just kind of wait for it. And so by that time there might be 5 stacked up, but that's not the goal. We're not trying to do like full line hockey changes.
Seems like your rotations have gotten spread more. More guys played last Friday than earlier in the year. Pick a game, any one game. Is that true, or did I'm just making that up in my head? It seemed like
we actually had less substitution on Saturday than what we normally do.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe the overall number of guys got in, but as far as the overall minutes,
okay.
the minutes were much more reduced than what we normally would. So when I talk about the rotations being shortened and our bench being shortened, that's what I mean, is that we may have still gotten 10 guys in the game, but usually when those 10 guys are in the game, they're getting multiple minutes. They're getting in and out, and at the end of the CC game, it was glaring to me that where we wanted to be with some of those rotations weren't what I wanted in the end. And so I have a process, especially when we lose. I can't shut it off very well, and so I stay with it. And then I've allowed myself to learn to do this. But for about 12 hours, all I do is I beat myself up.
So you don't sleep Saturday night?
There's not a lot of sleep that goes on after
you just
that.
Keep watching. You keep watching the game, or
I do some watching. What I find if I watch it too early though is I get too mad, and so I don't
get mad the second time.
And so I wait. I rethink things, and I start to really try to process it. And sometimes I may be texting with someone who's watched the game, or maybe I'm texting with Coach Fagley, and we're going back and forth. But sometimes I just have to do it on my own, and it's just part of my process. And then once I do that and I can get it out of my system these are all the things that I messed up, I didn't do correctly, I'd like to do differently.
So you evaluate yourself too.
Absolutely. That's where I start, because if I can figure out where the things that I feel strong about, like I liked this, even though this was the result, I would do this again, and I would want to change this. So once I know that gives me a framework. And then from there, I turn it on the players. So now they get the hot light as I'm watching the film and I'm going over things. So then I blaze them for 12 hours of, this happened and it's not supposed to happen this way. And then after that, then it goes back into, okay, so what are the solutions? So by the time I come back to seeing the boys or working with the players, I'm past the point of worrying about myself or worrying about them, and I'm back to, this is what the team needs to do. This is how we're going to fix it. And so it turns away from, I need to prove something to you because I'm mad. Like that tends to be, in one ear and out the other, when I found that they usually know when I'm not happy about something. And so I don't need to prove it by, slamming doors and screaming and yelling. And I won't say that I get loud, but that's not typically my go-to thing.
You get your proper amount of sleep?
We're working on it. This has been a weird week. So we have a doubleheader this week. West Lafayette is our third conference game. We're 0-2 in conference. I feel like going down there is a very important game for us. And so I literally finished up clients and knew I had a little bit of a sliver of time. So I broke. Now they played Covington, and so I broke down their Covington film and broke down their Western film and tried to share that with the guys to give them personnel tendencies and some offensive stuff. And so I'm trying to still give them new things to pay attention to, even though we only have one more practice before we have to go play.
And then a big night Saturday, Hall of Fame night, right?
We do. We have 3 inductees of our Hall of Fame, which is always a nice night. And we host Couts that night, and we haven't beat Couts in a handful of years. And so we'd like to get a double win this weekend. We haven't had one of those yet. So to get a win on Friday and a win on Saturday would be really useful for us.
Did the JV play this past week or no?
They did. They played Central Catholic and went in double overtime.
Oh, wow.
And real exciting game. I didn't get to see the end of it because I was over at the high school. We play in 2 different gyms.
Right.
And so I was able to hear about it. And we had guys that hit clutch shots and clutch free throws to put us into overtime. And I think we just ran out of some legs. I mean, part of what happens is, some of those guys come over and they get ready, and then, the guy fouled out. And so, I mean, there are things that happen, but real competitive game, and it fell the wrong way for us.
Your middle school season's done yet or no?
No, both the 6th grade is finished, but the 7th and 8th grade have I think 7th grade has a week and a half, and 8th grade has 2 more
How
weeks.
are they doing so far?
They are, I think 7th grade is over 500, so they've had a good season, won a tournament this year, so they've done a nice job. And the 8th grade team is sitting right around 500, and so they've had some good wins on the road, had some rough nights as well, but overall, we're really hoping those guys continue to improve. Each year, we hope to get a handful that want to play in high school, and we want to continue to develop them and get them to enjoy basketball as long as we can. And so that's really what our goal is. And so Coach Bob Hanna is the 8th grade coach, and then Jack Drone is the 7th grade coach. And so both of them do a really nice job of keeping those kids learning, which is sometimes a hard task. You've got those 13, 14-year-olds in 8th grade and, 11, 12, 13-year-olds in the 7th grade. And the physicality of what happens between 8th graders, you have some kids that walk in and have full deltoids and they're done growing. And you have other guys that, they can put a quarter in their back pocket by doing this. They're all legs. And so we're just trying to, get the kids to stay in a little bit more.
Chad, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
All
okay?
right, thanks, guys.
Chad Pulver from the Rensselaer Shelter Bombers back and wrap things up here on the Coach's Cage right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics. Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, ref!
That's simple human sense.
The Conrad Agency in Fowler and Brook. Call 765-884-0530.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117. Or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
All right, ready to wrap things up. I do want to remind folks that if you guys want to listen to or watch our archive games, just go to our website at 3kgthecage.com. On the front page, there's a site that you can see where go to our YouTube channel to watch the archive game. That's where all our archive games will be on our YouTube channel. So go to that or go to our little thing that says archive. Click on that bar, and it'll go right to it, and you'll see all the games there lined up. So either way, you can catch any of our archive, even last night's games already in the archive.
Up and ready to go.
Yeah, so it's right there. They're clipped off, and they're ready to go from start to finish. So that's another good feature that we have that people can sit there and watch. You know, you want to watch a football game that we have the live stream, you can do that. These are for our live stream games. So,
right.
So we can do that. All right. Friday night, you, me, and Jeff, that hadn't happened since about a month or so.
The old gang back together.
So we'll be up at Kankakee Valley, KV hosting Twin Lakes, 5 o'clock for the JV start. We'll be on there between 6:15, 6:30, and looking forward to that. Bill, thanks for coming down, and thanks for Jeff and Scotty for the whole gang's back. We haven't been here in about a month like this, all of us here together. So good to go, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, that'll do it from here. I'd like to thank all the sponsors, Arnie's, and all the coaches for coming in. And to greet you from Kankakee Valley Friday night, Bob Kurtz. For Scotty Miller, Jeff Gassno, and Bill Kay. So long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.